Straight into the enemy base in Africa, the atmosphere was already tense. Facing a giant fortress in the middle of nowhere, focusing on the armed guards at the main gate. In the shadows, our MC already grabs the first one by the neck, and in the blink of an eye, he beats the crap out of the guys without making a sound. Seeing this, his partner finds it weird that there's so little security there. Holding his knife, our boy realizes something is wrong. Going straight for the complex's entrance door. Inside the place, they find a mysterious safe. Quickly, the ally tries to open the box to grab the item, but looking at the panel, our hero realizes things went south, figuring out instantly that they fell into a deadly trap. Suddenly, a timer appears on the screen marking 20 seconds. Desperate, the partner yells at them to run away. Wrecking everything on the run, the two dash for the exit. In a panic, the friend tells the boss to go ahead. Yelling, our kid refuses to leave his comrade behind. But the ally pushes the boy with a shield to save his life, and right then, the clock hits 0. An absurd explosion destroys everything around. Soon after, news spreads on the internet saying the king of assassins kicked the bucket. Out of the rubble alive and kicking, our protagonist mourns his friend's sacrifice. During his meditation to heal his wounds, he ends up evolving his powers to the max level. Back in the big city, the idea now is to live a normal life, leaving the train station with a lot of style, looking like a prime-time soap opera heartthrob. Already inside a cab right after, through the city streets heading to his destination. Chatting with the driver, he mentions he's going to collect a debt from the Feng family, parking right in front of a rich mansion, asking the cabbie to wait real quick because the visit would be short. Out of the car, full of swagger, on his way to the entrance, he remembers there's an engagement party happening there today, keeping an eye on the residence's sign to confirm the address. Right off the bat, the security guards block the kid, asking for an invitation. Completely confused, the boy asks what invitation they're talking about. Full of attitude, the suits try to shoo the intruder away. Then the MC pulls out an old photo of two best friends. With the photo in hand, the guard notices the kid's resemblance to the man in the picture. With the wooden box in his other hand, he demands they call Uncle Feng. Scared, the guard asks him to wait and runs to notify the boss. Inside, the high society party was in full swing, highlighting the hot bride who was catching everyone's eye. A playboy raises his glass to make a lively toast, celebrating the union of the powerful families on stage. Everyone cheers, raising their glasses. Discreetly, the guard informs Uncle Feng there's a visitor at the door. With the box open revealing the medal, the old man freezes on the spot. He instantly recognizes that the Jiang family sent someone. Curious, one of the guests asks the reason for so much panic. In the corners, the women gossip about an old marriage agreement. Sitting at the table, the grandfather states that his granddaughter can't marry a stranger. Very calmly, Uncle Feng asks everyone to wait and goes outside, sprinting towards the main door, with a giant smile upon recognizing the kid. After apologizing for the delay, our boy turns on the charm. Almost crying with joy, the old man gives the MC a tight hug, followed immediately by asking how his father was doing. With a serious face, the hero announces that his father passed away 10 years ago. Shocked by the news, the old man's eyes widen. With a heavy conscience, the uncle says it was his fault. To calm the old man down, the MC says to leave the past behind. The reason for the visit was just to fulfill his father's last wish. In shock, the old man warns that the timing couldn't be worse. At that moment, the whole family shows up at the door to see what's going on. On the stairs, the rich ladies arrive looking disgusted, highlighting the spoiled rich girls approaching. Facing the crowd, our hero doesn't back down. Very sweetly, the bride says her childhood memories are kind of blurry, but her sister already comes in screaming and humiliating the boy. Pointing his finger, an arrogant playboy tells the MC to stop dreaming about the bride. Furious at the disrespect, Uncle Feng tells the rich kid to shut his mouth. Confused, the bride asks what the father's wish actually was. For a second, the old man hesitates, looking at the boy, and drops the bomb, revealing the wish was exactly the marriage between the two. Shocked by the arranged marriage gossip, the bride's eyes widen, confirming the story. The uncle says it was a promise made to the boy's father. Right in the middle of the room, the MC processes that the old man's last wish was exactly this engagement. Thinking fast, our hero decides that getting married now would only bring trouble to his dark side. Straight to the point, the kid tells it like it is, and says he wants to cancel the union. Furious at the snub, the bride's sister calls the boy a hypocritical gold digger. Jaw dropped, the rival preppy can't believe the outsider's audacity. Calling the MC a beggar, the playboy gets a brutal scolding from Uncle Feng. Unafraid of danger, the spoiled kid steps up and tells the old man to hit him if he has the guts. Almost crying, the bride asks if her father is really going to ruin her current engagement over the newcomer. Stomping his foot, the rival insists that a 20-year-old promise means nothing anymore. With tears in her eyes, the girl throws it in her father's face that he's being too selfish. Hurt by the situation, the rich girl runs out of the room amidst the confusion. Trying to calm things down, the old man asks our boy to go take a shower and rest. Already at night, the fancy mansion is in absolute silence. Locked in his room, the MC begins to meditate to strengthen his body and level up. With a smirk, he focuses on the golden energy circulating through his chest. Meanwhile, in the study, the family's grandfather pressures the uncle about this marriage madness. Firm in his decision, the old man reminds him that the boy's father saved his life in the past. Outraged, the elder argues that paying this debt will destroy his own daughter's life. Furthermore, the patriarch warns that canceling the engagement will cause a war with the rival family. Without backing down a single millimeter, the uncle promises to handle this headache. Sighing deeply, the elder accepts the idea but imposes 3 very annoying conditions. Point blank, he demands the kid pass a test and become a Levin's son-in-law with 0 respect. Leaving the room, the head of the house mocks the idea of marrying the heiress to a nobody. Alone in the room, the old man smiles and decides to go talk to our MC. Back in the bedroom, the boy finishes his training exactly when there's a knock on the door. With his eyes glowing red, he realizes his power has reached a new tier. Peeking through the crack, the uncle asks if the newcomer has already fallen asleep. Throwing on his shirt in a hurry, the MC tells the old man to come in for a chat. Straight to the point, the master of the house brings up the controversial arranged marriage. Without beating around the bush, our hero agrees to become the Levin's son-in-law just to please the old man. Relieved with the answer, the uncle gives him a tight hug and apologizes for the humiliation. Very chill, the boy says it's no problem and that he'll respect the rules. As soon as the old man turns his back, the kid is already planning to leave the city in 3 months. Far away at the rival family's mansion, things were getting heated. Furious with the news of the cancellation, the clan leader slams the table hard. Yelling, he thrashes his playboy son for losing his fiancée like this. Full of hate, the boss promises to pull all investments from their company. With an evil smile, the man in the suit agrees it's time to destroy the Feng family. Raising his hand high, the old man swears nobody makes a fool of his family. After the freak out, he turns his back and orders the guards to kick out the visitors. Changing scenes, the night shines on the neon signs of an internet cafe in the city. Sitting at a corner PC, our hero tells the admin to change his machine. Accessing the dark web, he goes straight to the secret elite assassin's website. Keeping an eye on the monitor, the boy pulls up the file of a high bounty target. Reading the description, he discovers the guy is a monster wanted for heavy crimes. Suddenly, a red alert flashes on the screen, catching the MC's attention. On the main page, news appears that the leadership of his old faction has been usurped. Instantly, the memory of the explosion that almost killed him comes rushing back, with a clear image in his head of the exact moment his partner used the shield. Right after comes the memory of the fire destroying the entire warehouse in Africa. Overcome by fury, he realizes he was betrayed by someone from within his own organization. Standing up in the internet cafe, the boy swears to find the traitor who set up the ambush. With a bloodthirsty look, he promises to avenge his friend's death at any cost. Already outside, the full moon illuminates the empty streets of the big city. Step by step on the sidewalks, he decides to stay in the area a few more days to hunt for clues. Out of nowhere, a white van screeches its tires and brakes hard right next to him. In seconds, 3 beefy thugs surround the MC and order him to get into the vehicle. With a knife in hand, the gang leader tries to terrorize the newcomer. Up close, the brute threatens to slit the hero's throat if he fights back. Pretending to be scared, our boy raises his hands and gets into the van without a fight. Inside, the surprise is huge when he sees a rich girl tied up in the backseat. Sitting around, the kidnappers tell everyone to stay quiet so the trip can continue. Not understanding the play, the MC asks why the hell they brought him along for the ride. Losing patience, the driver tells him to shut up and wait to see what happens. Speeding down the deserted avenue, the van disappears into the darkness towards the hideout. Meanwhile, at the kidnapped girl's family mansion, desperation has already hit hard. In the main room, the big shots discuss the Harris's disappearance in an atmosphere of pure tension. Extremely worried, the patriarch asks if they've found the girl's whereabouts. With his head down, the executive says he activated all contacts but nobody knows anything. Decided, the old man orders the ransom money prepared while the searches continue. However, a chubby executive warns that the company doesn't have the cash to pay $500 million right now. As a solution, the big-bellied guy suggests haggling with the bandits to lower the ransom. Outraged by the guy's coldness, the girl's father yells that her life is worth more than any amount. Pressuring the head of the family, the chubby executive warns that a ransom this size will bankrupt the company. With a clenched fist, the grandfather smashes the wooden table out of pure hatred. Screaming, the old man tells everyone to shut up and stop arguing over chump change. In a threatening tone, the leader demands they gather the $500 million immediately. Back at the hideout, the van parks in an abandoned warehouse in the middle of nowhere. Under the dim light, the thugs pull the group out of the car and tie everyone up. Not understanding the situation, the rich girl focuses her eyes on our MC, who is way too calm. Desperate, the rich girl struggles as the thugs rip the tape off her mouth. With her voice freed, The girl starts screaming for help at the top of her lungs. Annoyed by the noise, the brute threatens to rip the girl's clothes right there. With anger and fear, the hostage warns she'll bite her own tongue and kill herself if they try anything. Laughing, the gang boss tells the guys to stop playing and get to work. Quickly, the thugs set up a tripod with a video camera facing the girl. Shocked by the scene, the girl realizes they are going to film the execution to terrorize her family. Sarcastic, the bald guy praises the rich girl's intelligence before turning on the equipment. Watching the cowardice from the front row, our hero just observes the hostage's despair. With a knife in hand, the thug says that after the video, he'll send a lot of money to hell for her to spend. Laughing at the situation, the criminals surround the girl, who is already crying her eyes out. Playing with danger, the leader says he'll let the MC say some last words before dying. Full of boredom, the boy asks why they're in such a hurry to get to the coffin. Laughing hard at the kid's petulance, the thug raises his blade to attack. Arms crossed, the hero warns that his last words will cost very dearly. With his eyes glowing red, he decrees that the price will be all of their lives. Thinking the newcomer is an idiot, the thug says he pities dirtying his hands with his blood. Furious at the delay, another brute pulls out a machete and charges at him. Without blinking, the boy stays perfectly still with his arms crossed as the bandit advances. Jumping, the attacker tries to strike the boy's head with all his might. Frightened by the scene, the rich girl closes her eyes expecting the worst. But in an absurdly fast movement, our MC lands a fatal blow to the big guy's neck. In shock, the gang boss sees his partner fall stiff to the ground without understanding a thing. With a macabre smile, the boy announces it's the next guy's turn to take a hit. Kicking the fallen bandit's body, the weapon flies far towards the ceiling. With a perfect leap, our hero grabs a piece of iron pipe that was just lying around. Using his body weight, he hurls the bar with monstrous strength at the shooter. With no time to react, the bald guy is impaled alive and pinned to the warehouse wall. Terrified by the horror scene, the rest of the gang pulls out their guns and orders to shoot. Under a hail of bullets, the kid dodges the shots as if it were a dance. Advancing at the speed of light, he beats the crap out of everyone all at once. With brutal punches and kicks, the thugs fly far away like ragdolls, one by one falling defeated to the ground, staining the warehouse with their own blood. With only one left alive, the hero's dark aura dominates the whole room. Scared shitless, the last survivor asks who the hell is the monster in front of him. With a precise punch to the face, the MC lays the criminal out and knocks the poor guy cold. Searching the unconscious leader's pocket, the boy grabs a stack of $100 bills. Stepping on the scumbag's chest, he mocks him, saying he forgot to collect the tax for his last words. Already with the cash in hand, our hero hears the girl asking him to untee the ropes. With a quick flick, he throws a pocket knife towards the hostage. The blade grazes past and cuts the knots of the ropes, freeing the rich girl in an instant. Relieved, the girl thanks her savior, but he cuts her off and tells her to keep her mouth shut. Minutes later, the police and ambulances surround the warehouse full of bodies on the floor. Running with open arms, the grandfather hugs his granddaughter, crying with relief that she's alive. With eyes full of tears, the old man holds the Harris tight against his chest. In the middle of the street, a detective asks who the vigilant was that took down the entire gang. A professional liar, the girl invents that it was a short, fat older guy wearing a mask. Far away, the moon illuminates the quiet night of the big city. Safely inside the house, the grandfather pulls his granddaughter aside and says he knows she lied to the cops. Cornered, the girl confesses she saw the savior's face but didn't want to turn him in. In a serious tone, the old man praises her loyalty but warns that they can't know if the crazy guy is a hero or a villain. Understanding, the granddaughter agrees with her grandpa's logic and promises to be careful. Alone in her room with her mind racing, the girl suspects the true intentions of the handsome vigilant. In the mansion study, the head of the family gives direct orders to the head of security. With blood in his eyes, the old man orders the bodyguard to protect his granddaughter at all costs. As an extra mission, he orders him to secretly investigate the identity of the mysterious vigilant. Meanwhile, our hero runs through the streets using a shadow step technique to avoid being seen. Arriving at the Feng family mansion, he jumps the wall like a ninja in the dead of night. In the house's lobby, the whole crowd is gathered waiting for the newcomer's return. Pointing at his watch, the spoiled preppy freaks out saying the guy arrived way too late. Too lazy for the yelling, the MC mocks him, asking if the house has a curfew like a prison. Furious, Uncle Feng scolds the playboy, telling him to respect the Harris's almost husband. Without lowering his guard, the rival calls the boy a futureless piece of trash who will never be worthy of the family. In shock, the playboy reveals to everyone that the boy's rival's godfather is a heavy-duty crime boss. Making the mood heavier, the uncle confirms that the rumors about the city's mafia are real. With a tired sigh, the aunt warns that messing with the big fish will end badly. Putting a hand on the boy's shoulder, the old man promises the family will protect him no matter what. With a confident smile, The hero thanks them for the support but swears that whoever messes with him will regret it big time. Turning his back, the patriarch warns that arrogant youngsters die early and storms off huffing. With class, our hero replies that whoever speaks the truth isn't arrogant and announces he's going to his room. Sighing, the uncle asks the kid not to take the insults to heart. The very next day, the sun shines brightly over the city's suburbs. Standing in front of a rusty gate, the MC stares at his dead partner's old house. Scratching his chin, he finds it weird that the place looks like it's been abandoned for a long time. Suddenly, a gossipy neighbor mentions that the family moved out of there a year ago. Curious, the boy starts a conversation and asks if the lady knows where they went. With a baby in her arms, the woman says she doesn't know the exact address but gives a tip about a neighborhood girl who usually visits the place. Smiling, the MC thanks her and asks the woman to give him a heads up if this girl shows up. Pensive, he crosses his arms and tries to understand the mystery behind the family's sudden disappearance. Walking back through the streets, the kid wonders if this has to do with the explosion in Africa. Changing scenes, a fancy skyscraper shines under the blue sky in the city center. In a luxurious hotel room, the rival playboy wakes up after a wild night. Annoyed by the noise at the door, the playboy complains that someone dares to interrupt his beauty sleep. Opening the door in a towel, he comes face to face with a huge bald thug. Without delay, the man in the suit asks if the big guy found out anything about the outsider. Straight to the point, the bandit tells him the boy's whole dirty file, revealing he's a nobody with no family. Full of disgust, the playboy says the newcomer is worse than an insect and doesn't deserve to marry the heiress. With an evil little laugh, the preppy plans to try diplomacy before ordering a hit on the kid. In a fancy tea house, the rival meets the fiancé, who has a pitiful crying face. Trying to be sweet, he asks what the problem is and offers to help his beloved. Crying, the girl explains that her father wants to force the marriage with that country bumpkin. Furious, the rich girl suggests they run away to get married in secret and deal with the fallout later. Posing as a good guy, the scumbag rejects the idea, saying it would ruin her father's name. Freaking out, the girl screams that if they don't run, her engagement will become a joke in the whole city. In tears, she apologizes for her stubborn father and says their love is at risk. Being dramatic, the bride declares the relationship is over and that she will accept her cruel fate. Seeing the girl leave, the playboy instantly pulls out his cell phone and orders the thug to execute Plan B. In the hotel room, the bald guy receives the order and notifies our MC that the girl is in the area. Rushing down the stairs, the boy tells Uncle Feng he's going to step out for a bit. Already downtown, the MC catches a yellow cab straight to the meeting point. Getting into the car, he tells the driver to head to the agreed address, unaware of the danger. Over the radio, the cab driver tells his buddies he picked up the target and is already en route. Speeding down the deserted avenue, the car disappears into the night. Taking a dirt road in the middle of nowhere, the kid notices the weird rote, staring at the driver through the rearview mirror. The boy asks where the hell they are going. Laughing, the cabbie reveals the trap and confesses he was paid to deliver the passenger. Unafraid of danger, the bandit tells the boy to relax because they're already arriving. Stopping in front of an isolated mansion, the cab drops the MC off at the entrance. Opening the door for the boy, the thug tells him to go inside alone and meet the boss. Calmly, our hero walks towards the lobby while the thugs laugh at his stupidity. Pushing the double doors, he comes face to face with the host of the party. Sitting on a fancy couch, the rival playboy is drinking wine with his goons. Looking bored, the MC asks who's the clown acting like a tough guy here. Raising his glass, the playboy mocks the newcomer's ignorance. Losing patience, the boy asks what the preppy wants to settle in this middle of nowhere. In a fit of rage, the rival throws in his face that it's a humiliation to lose his fiancée to a beggar. With a raised voice, he demands the outsider give up the marriage and leave the city. Threatening to cut off one of the MC's fingers, the scumbag tells him to crawl back to the hole he came from. With the room full of brutes, the mood gets heavy and tension takes over. Giving a sadistic smile, our hero asks what happens if he says no. Pissed off, the playboy orders his thugs to teach the cocky kid some manners. Cracking his knuckles, the giant bald guy gets ready to crush the kid. Suddenly, the room's door is busted open by a mysterious guy. Stepping in front of the MC, Uncle Feng's bodyguard announces he came to help. With clenched fists, the bodyguard tells the kid to run while he holds the guys off. Going on the attack, the guard tries to land a punch on the bald guy. However, the bandit is too strong and blocks the strike like it's nothing. In a fast counterattack, the bald guy lands a brutal kick to the guard's stomach. Flying backwards, the guard falls to the ground spitting blood and groaning in pain. With a threatening look, the bald guy tells the MC that if he has any sense, he'd better go outside. In the mansion's backyard, two thugs are already digging a shallow grave near the cab. Walking out casually, our hero warns them they are digging their own graves. Laughing at his audacity, the bald guy asks if the kid is going to jump into the hole by himself or if he needs help. Covering his face with his hand, the boy sighs, saying he didn't want to have to kill anyone. Furious at the mockery, one of the gravediggers raises his shovel to bash the MC's head. In an invisible movement, the shovel is cut in half along with the thug's hope. With a lightning-fast counterattack, the hero strikes the criminal dead in the center of his chest. In shock, the thug's eyes widen, unable to breathe. Falling backward, he sinks into the grave he dug himself. Seeing his dead partner, the other gravedigger charges with his shovel. Screaming like a madman, dodging easily, the kid lands a devastating punch to the poor guy's face. Defeated on the ground, the bandit bleeds while the hero glares at the rest of the gang. Pulling a knife from his pocket, the giant bald guy announces playtime is over, and the kid is going to bleed. Diving in with everything, the other brute flies at the kid, screaming for him to go to hell. Without even breaking a sweat, the boy grabs the thug's arm mid-air and stops the stab. With his other hand, he lands a violent punch to the attacker's mug, making his eyes pop wide. Right after, a deafening crash echoes through the yard when the thug is slammed against the ground, shattering the entire pavement. Dusting off his clothes, the hero gives a little sadistic smirk and turns back to face the crew. Desperate at the newcomer's absurd power, the last thugs stare at the crater on the ground. On his knees, the big bald guy begs for mercy, saying it's all just a misunderstanding and blames the playboy. With his eyes glowing in a murderous red, the boy orders the brute to throw himself into the grave alone. Crying in terror, the bald guy accepts the order and crawls towards the hole, begging for his life. At that moment, the coward grabs a heavy rock from the ground and violently crushes his own head to kill himself quickly. Leaving the mansion in style, our MC walks down the sidewalk, leaving the bodies behind in the darkness.